Thank you, John. I mean, this is a truly shocking report, and I would fully endorse the comments that have already been made by Ewan and also the Member of Parliament for Perry Barr, that there should be an inquiry into this. But it is welcome to have this lessons learnt paper, but the lessons learnt paper begs the question of why were those mistakes made? I think one hint as to why comes under 8.1. It says member engagement. The findings of this report will be presented to ward councillors through separate detailed sessions over coming months to help inform them in their future decision-making process. That's a really shocking, appalling comment. The two members for Perry Barr, Councillor Hunt, Councillor Jan, have been highly vocal, highly engaged all the way through this story. And to have the sum of member engagement in this report is, we'll tell you them what we've found, I think is truly shocking. So what I would like to do now is actually just pass on some of the comments from Councillor Hunt. He talks about no consultation with ward councillors or indeed opposition leaders at the time of the games. People writing themselves blank cheques, decisions being made behind closed doors by a small clique of people. And even recently, there's been no strategic oversight of the project, as was promised. And we're now paying the price for that arrogance, he says. There should be a more detailed inquiry, as I've said, to identify those responsible for this appalling waste of public money. And the little things, like, for example, ensuring that Perry Barr was clean when people went to visit the flats, was simply not done. It looked disgusting, he says. The environment was awful when the flats were on sale. The complex itself is nice inside, but if you got off the bus to look at the flat, you would not have been impressed. So, as I've said, this report, which is, as he says, interesting and revealing, was compiled without any reference to the ward councillors, and that is appalling. Second point I want to make is the point about lessons learned. We're saying that, yeah, we've learned these lessons and things will now improve. But if that's the case, we've got in this city another major development going on in Ladywood. Now, one of the issues with Perry Barr was that we relied on one private sector partner for one aspect of this. And yet here we are looking at Ladywood, a much bigger scheme, and we've got one private sector lead contractor partner. And that exposes us to all the same risks as are detailed in this report. So we know that, for example, on housing repairs, that 2 contractors is now shown not to be enough, and we're moving quite rightly to 4. And yet here we are supposedly saying, oh, we've learnt the lessons from this, and yet in Perry Barr we're exposing ourselves to all those same problems of being dependent on one contractor. And I think it is time that that decision is reversed, and that we look again at the whole Ladywood scheme in light of these lessons learned, and begin from the beginning. And Ladywood equally shows the lack of proper engagement with the community, and that again needs to change. So if we can really believe that lessons are being learned from this disaster in Perry Barr, we would see that in Ladywood, and we're not seeing that.